Many thanks for joining us on this week's first episode of E15, a daily program that examines burning issues concerning the forthcoming general elections in Nigeria. With the help of a team of seasoned, informed journalists, I am Ayodele Ozubaku. It is 12 days to the rescheduled general elections in Nigeria. Bayelsa State Governor Siriake Dixon has urged traditional rulers in the state to take advantage of the extension of the deadline for the collection of the permanent voter cards by engaging the services of town criers in their communities. In Oyo State, the All Progressives Congress points fingers at some influential opposition party members, alleging that they compromised INEC officials to divert the permanent voter cards belonging to some registered voters in the state. Meanwhile, Nigerians witnessed the individual differences between the two wives of the two top contenders of the country's presidential election, that is Mrs. Patience Jonathan and Mrs. Aisha Buhari. While Mrs. Jonathan was quoted to have said, "If anyone comes to you and say change, please stone that person." Mrs. Buhari said, "We can't separate morality from politics. Human life is sacred. Please don't stone anybody." These are the issues we shall be looking at on today's episode of the program. But first, let me take a break and return with our guest. Stay with us.
Being a mom is a full-time job, and most times, women have to juggle that with being a full-time employee. The challenges are numerous, but maybe there's a way out. Join us on A Woman's World as we present our very first symposium tagged Make It Happen, a conducive working environment for working mothers. The event promises to be impactful and packed with leading working women, as well as top executives sharing their experiences and offering life-changing solutions. To be a part of the live audience, kindly send your name and phone number to awomensworld@tvcnews.tv. You can't afford to miss it. Be there.
Back. If you're just joining us, this is E15, and we're counting down 12 days to that election. Eshomo Modu, 12 days for you to go to Otueke.
for the election to actually come, so that all this piled up tension will just naturally ease out.
Joining us again is the publisher of Cross River Watch, Agba Jalingo.
It's good to still hear.
Are you monitoring it in Lagos or you are going to Cross River?
Well, I still cannot say where I'll be yet.
Okay, for security reasons. So that thank you. And Jide is going to be coordinating the newsroom flank of the whole thing. 12 days, Jide.
Yes, I really can't wait for the election that takes place on my birthday. I've said it here before. It is my wish that something significant happens on that day, so that my birthday would join June 12th in terms of popularity. You know, maybe it will even become more popular than June 12th by the significant event that I hope happens on that day.
Is that the return of Mr. President, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan?
Well.
President,
I don't know.
People will decide.
It must go.
I don't know.
We told you, we promised you since December that we are going to be on top of this PVC issue, and we have updates on the distribution of the permanent voter card. Let me start from here, Shomo. Governor Dixon wants traditional rulers to engage town criers. That's in case if television or radio is not getting to, the nook and crannies of Yenagoa or some remote islands in Bayelsa.
Yeah, I think that is a good one, because even on this platform we have said often time that you can't rule out the influence, the role of traditional rulers, and I think that is what he's just demonstrating. And also we must also point out this aspect that I, for one, believe that INEC has not done enough in publicity, because in those days, before voter education, in those days before election, you will hear jingle, even in the local dialect. You see it translated in several other languages. We don't see it play out this time around. You wonder what is the National Orientation Agency doing in educating the people. You wonder what INEC is doing in educating the people. You wonder, it's almost the political party you see even trying to educate the people, but how many have even translated it into the local dialect? And I think
I was asking myself yesterday, Shomo, about the presidential election, Senate and House of Representatives are going to have 3 ballot papers, and by now INEC should make us know that, and the colors, so that you don't module everything. Is it coming in one ballot paper? We have 3, and we have to do presidential first, Senate, and the House of Representatives.
I think it is the responsibility of INEC to educate the people, the colors of these things, what they will accept, because you don't wait until election day. People get there and they get confused. And if INEC is not doing, I think the other stakeholders are the political parties. What have you done in educating the people? Because if INEC fail in their responsibility, ultimately you will be the beneficiary of this, or the losers of INEC's failure. So you should also take it up to educate the people so that they will know what they will expect when they get to the polling unit on that day.
Bayelsa is having 610,000, over 600,000 registered voters, and for now, INEC is telling us that 546, a little bit over 500,000 people turned up to collect their PVC. So they have like close to 1 million deficit, and not close to 100,000 deficit, and Governor Siraki want to go use town crier.
Well, I think the town crying system has always been part of our tradition. It's always been part of our culture. It gets to some point that we really cannot do without it. I do not have any issue with that. But, you know, if you disaggregate, but INEC will tell you 80-something% has been achieved in Bayelsa, but if you disaggregate, you find out that the remaining number is actually concentrated in a few local governments that they have complained about getting access to. And it brings us back to that same dilemma that has been the portion of Bayelsa State since its creation, even including the fact that they've had the luxury of having the incumbent president as their governor. The state with only 8 local governments has refused to develop. The most popular people in the state are people who are gunmen. Apart from Mr. President, I think that if you do any rating, the second most popular person in that state would definitely be a militant, apart from Mr. President. And that is the dilemma of Bayelsa State, that with all of this, the state is not developed enough to give INEC access to some of those. It's just 8 local governments. I would have thought that by now we will see some of the best designs in this world in Bayelsa State. We'll see some 3, 4, 5, 10 third mainland bridges crisscrossing Bayelsa State. But up till now,
don't forget, it's a riverine.
That's what I'm saying now. The third mainland bridge was just one river somewhere. Somebody decided to do a third mainland bridge across it, and somebody is talking about fourth mainland bridge, even though we have not seen it since 1998. But the truth is that there's a bridge in Lagos. I expected to see several of that in Bayelsa State, with the benefit of Mr. President having been governor in that state and a lot of others. So that we won't hear INEC telling us that they're having issues with moving to some parts of the state. But 100,000. There's a lot that the town criers will do.
I think they should be thankful.
They should be thankful. Like Ogun State and some other states where the story is actually very horrible.
Judy, I'll take you to Oyo State. APC accuses INEC of diverting PVCs.
Yeah, really, we talked about Oyo State last week, yeah, and for me, I'm really worried. A situation whereby more than 700,000 people have still not picked up their cards, the PVCs, is disturbing. The governor has done all that he thinks are necessary to solve this problem. He's declared public holidays, but clearly the problem remains. And we can see clearly now that, look, even the APC members are complaining. For the party in the state to raise the alarm that INEC in cahoots with some individuals, some opposition elements in Oyo State are diverting PVCs. That shows you that they are really worried. You see, when we talk about this PVC problem and the need to solve it, some Nigerians who get unnecessarily emotional about little things, they say, oh, you are playing the PDP script. Oh, you are saying what the PDP likes to hear. And the reality is, when as many as 700,000 in the state is at the risk of
that's Ogun State.
In Oyo State, is at the risk.
With this figure, is even over.
Yes, no. At the time I saw it, that was what I saw. Now, if that figure, as many as 700,000 plus are at the risk of not voting in an election. You really cannot say which party they belong to. I mean, it's naive for our people to reason like this. You never can tell whether members of your own party are the worst affected. And when we talk about Ogun State, because I know Governor Mosun so well, I know his areas of strength. I've monitored his progress as a politician since 2003. That's why I know that the areas worst hit by this PVC problem are the areas where Amosun expects to garner so many votes. And then we talk about this problem, and some people say, "Oh, is the PDP script." Should we not talk about the inadequacies of an agency that is even putting an incumbent at risk of re-election? So this is the problem. These are disturbing figures. Look at Oyo State is the second most populated in the whole of the Southwest after Lagos.
Yes.
And then you have this figure in Oyo State. Let's look at it again. Out of 2,415,566, only 1,639,967 have actually received their PVC, which is
67.89%.
67.89. Is actually higher than what I was talking about. So clearly in excess,
800,000.
clearly in excess of 700,000 are yet to pick their PVC. And Ayo, the reality is this is Nigeria, where many things that you naturally would not expect to see happen, happen. So whether some people are pulling strings from Abuja or from somewhere, we really do not know. Somebody talked about the fact that in the East, some councillors working in cahoots with, some councillors hijacked PVCs. And we said, is it possible for anybody to hijack PVCs without the connivance of INEC?
It's not possible.
Because you're expected to lead your TVCs.
So this is the reality. This is the reality. Now, for APC in Oyo State to be raising alarm over, I knew it would come to this, Ayo. I knew it would come to this.
12 days to the election.
I knew it would come to this because, look, a time will come when it becomes glaring to you that your re-election, whether you are APC or PDP, is at risk. You will raise alarm at that time. At that time, you will no longer be emotional, needlessly. You will raise alarm. You will see clearly the handwriting on the wall that if this thing is not redressed, that it could be you that will pay the price. So that is why we are talking about this problem. And I'm happy that INEC, because I remember that when INEC said it was not going to extend the collection of PVCs, that Shomomo kept complaining that you can't have this kind of situation and you tell us that you don't want to extend, that you will no longer extend. I'm happy that reason has prevailed. And INEC has extended this. For every day that you've added to it, more Nigerians stand the chance of picking their PVCs, which is what we want. This is an election like no other election. That's the way I describe it. So we want as many Nigerians as possible to take part in this election. We don't want to hear stories that, even the election that brought Obama to office, not more than 50% voted. That is not our problem. Put people in a situation whereby if they want to vote, they can vote.
Coming back to Jalingo, now, if we had that exercise February 14th, look at the figures we are reeling out. And we're still talking about close to $1 million deficits. We are talking about test running card readers.
It wouldn't have been an election. That's why I said here last week that I actually took my word back that I joined in error to criticize the postponement of the election. Because with the revelations that came after the postponement, it is very, very clear that if this election had held on the 14th, it would really not have been an election. 23 million voters disenfranchised. Like Akpabio rightly pointed out the other day, that's the population of about 6-7 countries in West Africa. And that is not a joke. Liberia is 6 million people. You understand? So it's like 6 countries in West Africa.
South Africa is 21 million.
Yeah, so you see what I mean. So it really would not have been an election that somebody can say was credible. But even in the midst of this, most of these governors kept saying that INEC was doing well. They didn't even have enough intelligence to know. Or maybe somebody was thinking that the situation was tilting in our favor, so we don't need to worry. Because all the governors were giving INEC kudos. They kept assuring the people that INEC was ready, INEC was prepared. And it's in Nigeria today, it is easier for us to believe our governors. Like, I will more easily believe in Fashola than the federal government. I'm telling you the truth. I live in Lagos. I'm not from Lagos, but I live here. And I will more easily believe him than I will believe Mr. President. That's the truth. And so if a governor comes out and tell you that don't worry, INEC is prepared, I've spoken with the REC said they are ready for the election, you want to believe that governor. And Amosun, Ajimobi, all of them kept saying that INEC was ready. And it is so appalling to hear that just 600,000 in Ogun State, and then the governor is now crying. I think that INEC should continue extending this time until the eve of the election, so that people, as many people as possible,
do you support that? What we are facing now, 12 days to the election, we must stop this exercise before the election, whether we like it or not.
I don't know the magic INEC, the miracle INEC will put in place to get this thing corrected. Ayo, before February 14, Ogun State, they had over 900,000 that had not collected their PVC. Now you have 2 weeks after, up from that time till now, it has only increased. Now, the percentage of collection is just 49%. Then it was about 42%, which means just about 7% increase. Now, in the next 12 days, what kind of magic are you going to put in place to push it from 49% collection rates?
I'm not forgetting that we had 6 weeks ago, from 6 to the day that the postponement was announced till this time.
So we still go back to not achieved up to 10% improvement.
At all.
In Ogun State, they've not achieved
in spite of the 6 weeks.
So my worry is
the issue relays why it is difficult for them to make significant progress in Ogun State is because
extra situation.
A substantial portion of the leftover is not theirs. It's even either in Abuja or somewhere.
Not printed yet.
Remember, they said that the INEC REC for Ogun State confessed that 420,000
they're expecting
were still being awaited from.
They've not come to tell us if they have been supplied.
Yeah. No, they now said they've given them 190,000 out of that figure.
We have our Oyo State correspondent Olutayo Famous Cole joining us. Hello, Tayo.
Hello.
Tayo, can you just give us an update on the collection of permanent voter cards in Oyo State?
Hello.
Yes, Tayo, we're with you.
Okay, yeah. The collection rate, which according to the Oyo State INEC, as of Thursday last week, put the collection in terms of percentage at 69.13%.
What do you call it?
69.13%.
69.
That's according to the Oyo State INEC. They received a total of 2,381,102 cards, and totally 1,646,109 have been collected. And at present, they have a balance of yet to be collected cards of 734,993. They attribute this to the lack of interest on the part of Nigerians to come out and collect their cards. This is because most Nigerians, a week prior to the postponement of the elections, they were really interested. But once the elections were postponed, that lack of interest kept in. And so Nigerians are, lacking that interest, that urge to come and collect their card. That's despite the fact that the state government...
Tayo, are you sure that that's the situation in Oyo State? Is it that they've lost interest, or most of them will come out and they've not been able to identify or take possession of their cards?
People have lost interest in as much as they
go
to the registration centers to collect their cards. they are met with certain obstacles, such as issues and non-availability of records. You know, some people are relocated, some are dead, and you know, when they get to these registration centers, they are encountered by so many challenges, and so people just prefer that people prefer that they don't come at all to collect the cards. And you know, your state is an agro-based commercial state. We have petty traders and
okay, they would like to go to their
people. So they prefer going for their businesses, attending to their trades than coming out to get the cards.
Okay, Olutayo, let me just find out for the records. The people go out to collect their PVCs. Is it at the various polling units or at the local government? Where exactly are the distribution points?
They are the polling units.
The polling units?
Yes, they are polling units.
What are those challenges they encounter when they get there that you mentioned that led to their lack of interest?
You know, for Nigerians to be really interested, when you get to a place and you want to collect your card and you find out that the person that is supposed to give you that card has not resumed and you have to go to work, the officials usually get there late, and in some instances they demand for bribes before you can get the easy way out to fast track the collection. If you want to collect your card, you can easily put something on ground and you get your card instantly.
And so some INEC officials demand for money?
In most cases, for you to get your card on time, you just have to part with something.
Thank you so much.
Now, is it gone?
It's still there.
I'm with you.
It's still there.
Okay, Famous Co.
Yes.
The Oyo State chapter of the APC complained, and it's in the papers today, that INEC has been conniving with some opposition elements to divert PVCs. That's their language.
Yes.
Do you have information with regards to this allegation?
Well, the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State has been coming up with such claims in recent times, which the INEC has debunked. The police authorities are asking for substantial evidence put forward by the APC, which up until now they've not been able to bring to the table. These are just, according to police authorities, mere speculations.
Okay.
Thank you, Tayo. Thank you, Olutayo from Moscow.
You're very much welcome.
Your state correspondent Olutayo from Moscow giving us a kind of updates on the collection rate of the permanent voter card in Oyo State. Jalingo, Tayo is saying that you have to part with something before you collect this.
Yeah, I said that here last week that even in Kosovo local government, where I went with my wife to collect ours, which we still haven't been able to collect anyway, we also saw incidences where officials were asking for money before they will attend to you. It's rampant. There's no way I can deny that. It's very, very rampant. Really, sometimes you expect them to do their work. They are not going to talk to you. They are not different from every other civil servant anyway. So when you go, that same attitude, they sit down, they feel you just came to bother them. And what are they doing? They are gisting, they are breaking a goosey, they are gisting. And you ask them to do their job for which they are paid. They think you are irritating them. Okay, leave me, Joe, let me finish, I will come and attend to you. So those kind of attitudes. And then if you don't have the patience, you really will walk away. But if you want it to be done really faster, you part with some money and then you get a smile, and maybe after that you also get some quick service. It's rampant. It's happening all over the place.
This is another. This is another angle to the host gist.
It's the goosey business. They are really interested.
What you see them, you know, my boy and gisting, and the moment you ask them to do their job, they get irritated and angry.
In fact, at the rate we are going in Nigeria, we will all be immune to any form of shock. We will have immunity against any form of shock. Nothing will shock us anymore. If you go to your workplace as an INEC staff and you go there with a basket of egusi just to keep yourself busy.
And you have your primary responsibility.
Some are selling
Gift
recharge
cards.
card. Some go as far as selling, they bring amala and give to keep it at the security gate. When they go and sell after some time, when they see that crowd, of course, the market. Yes, they do. Local government staff, next staff, you see, they are all involved, and there are no checks and balances. I'm saying this from experience. Yes, they do.
Let's look at it.
It's quite.
It's a business opportunity for people to come and kill.
Yes.
The only thing they hate doing is the job for which they were employed.
Now, now you see where I'm going. The implication of this inaction, ineffective service delivery, is what we have in Lagos. You know, I was telling you during the weekend, I know that the figure in Lagos is not encouraging. Now, there are still more than 2 million people yet to pick up their PVCs in Lagos. Out of 5,822,207 registered voters, only 3,767,647. That is
representing
well
64%,
in excess.
64.71%.
I'm never impressed by so-called allusion to percentage. I'm looking at concrete figures. Figures, more than 2 million, well in excess of 2 million, have still not collected in Lagos. Look, we've had stories of people actually registering somewhere and going there, and the impression that you get is that even that polling unit no longer exists. So all of the people who registered there, that's in Lagos. You know, someone called us that he registered somewhere along Agege Motor Road. And right now, that polling unit no longer exists. Meaning that all of the people who registered there should forget about voting in this election. You know, and when you subject people to pains, going there repeatedly, trying to pick up and trying to extort money from them, they just ask themselves that, look, what's in this thing for me?
Exactly.
That I have to go, I have to abandon my work, you know, to go and line up for hours on end, and then at the end of the day, you are asking me for money? They are going to give up. So the story from Famous Code that a lot of Nigerians are actually dispirited, I know that it's a very valid story, because you can't keep doing this to people and you expect them to keep going there every day.
You go there the first time.
Okay, some of them, why haven't you got your car? They say, we are tired of going to that place.
That's the thing. They will get tired at some point.
At this junction, we'll take a break. We'll take this breather, and when we come back, we speak with our Ogun State correspondent, Kazim Olonwe.